Welcome back to our long play of Farming Simulator number 25. I thought I had a Mountain Dew here, but it looks like I'm almost out. So I guess we are not going to be drinking Mountain Dew on this one. Anyway, we are getting ready to check out some contracts, what we can do on this one. We do have a cultivating. That looks pretty nice. I might accept that contract right now. It's a decent pay. None of the rest of these look that good. Harvesting sorghum might not be a bad one to do. For 5,000. We might do that sorghum one. But it depends on what else pops up. We're going to borrow those items. That gives us 5,000 for the day. We might do some more cultivating as well. Before we bounce over there, let's take a look at our used market and see what might have changed. It doesn't look like too much has changed here. Which is actually pretty good, if you ask me. There has been some changes, though. There were more tractors in, and I'm not seeing those. I wouldn't mind maybe grabbing that. No, that one's probably too small. Yeah, that's too small. Even if we... Yeah, way too small. So, let's back out of there. This might not be a bad pickup. That could be a good pickup. I wonder... bale... Yeah, something like that. 13,000. That's a good one. Wide tires, we would want to change our colors a little bit. Rim color, go with the black. And I do like that color, but I think we'd want to go something like that there. Yeah, that's an auto load bale trailer. And I think, yeah, we're going to buy that straight up. Our wheel setup. I think we go... Do we go standard? I think we're going to go standard. So this is a pickup. This is one of our first purchases. We're going to buy that. Boom. Yes. Okay. And that is not a bad purchase in my opinion. Right before we go, we do have another cultivating one we can grab. We'll accept that contract. So we got 2 cultivating contracts. We could do a spraying contract if I want. I should have the stuff over at the field. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to move my trailer away from here. Yeah, we're going to move our trailer over here. We'll put it in the repair shop. Check and see if we need to make any repairs to it. But we're not going to do that right now. Yeah, there's our herbicide, so we can definitely go do some more of those, but we're not going to do those just yet. Attach that on. Let's get a big map up. And I think we'll go cultivate field 15 to start. This is a smaller cultivator than the one that I'd want to have, but, you know, it'll work. If we do a bigger field, we might release something else. But this will at least get us started. Need to make a little bit of money. Okay, let's hit here. Drop this out. Yeah, this one's kind of small. We need to drop that down, and off we go. Now, if you're new to the channel or to this series and haven't watched the first one, some key notes that you should know is this is a long play, which means we're not going to speed anything up. We're actually doing it the way it would be played if you were playing. So that is the first key thing to this. The second key to this is that when we're doing contracts like this, we're not hiring the AI to do any of the work. We're going to do all of the work ourselves. So that's a couple of things that you should know, a couple of key things you should know when you're watching the series, that, yeah, we are going to, you know, not speed this up in any way. With that said, I want to say thank you for your support to this channel. It is greatly appreciated. Get up close here. As we continue to cultivate this field, another one thing that I would mention really quickly is that I'm not a seasoned farming simulator player. I probably have put about 50, 60 hours in Farming Simulator 25. I did purchase Farming Simulator 22 back, it was way after it actually got released. It was probably towards the end, and I actually purchased it because I got Farming Simulator 19 free, I believe, on Epic. I got 19 free on Epic. I don't know when that was, maybe 2022, 2023. And I probably didn't put more than, I would say, 10 hours in playing that. Farming Simulator 22, I'd probably put somewhere between 20 and 40 hours in. I actually could take a look at it. I've still got it on Steam. I could see exactly what I put on there if you're really curious. But I know I didn't put a ton of time into it. And 25, you know, we're looking at probably about 50 to 60 hours in. So I am not an experienced, you know, player of this game. So if you do have any suggestions on how to make this a little bit simpler, a little easier, any mods that you think are a good mod to throw in, throw it in. Let me know. I'd appreciate that. According to this, we're already 68% done on this field. It doesn't feel like it. Feels like we're like 40% complete. I do have some plans in this game, and if you're curious on when this will be published, we'll publish every Wednesday and Saturday by noon Pacific time, if you're curious. As I'm recording this, I'm recording about 1 week ahead of schedule. So if you do put some comments down in the comment section, it may be a week or two before I actually get to implementing your suggestions. It's kind of important to let you know that, because I will record these things in advance. I would say I wish I had a little bigger cultivator, a little wider. This thing's about twice the size of the tractor. I'd like something that would be about 3 times the size of the tractor. We'll come close to completing it on this run. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we completed that. Let's take a look. There is another cultivating one. It's down here. We'll accept that contract, and we will cash out on this one. And we'll go hit the next one, field 69 right now. And then if no other cultivating ones pop up, then we'll cruise up and hit field 51. And if we get lucky and we get one that's a large field or a little bigger unit, will lease that out, because no matter what, we got these two. That cuts our lease fees down to about $260 per field, which isn't too bad. I always kind of try to keep track of that a little bit. Now we got the auto load mod, and that will auto load the bales onto the trailer. I'm wondering if we go do a baling contract. I already know that if we just go and sell the bales, we don't get any money, but if I collect the bales on my personal vehicle, I wonder if we could get paid out for that. I know if we do some of the lumber ones, at some point in time we would be able to get the payout on that. Oh, a little foggy out today. And here we are. With a little bit more money, this gets us up to a little over 5,000 for the day. Kind of like on our last episode, we kind of ended the day up mowing most of the day. We're starting this one out cultivating fields. This field's kind of a weird layout of a field, if you ask me. We could grab some spraying contracts. We got plenty of herbicide, so that's something that we might consider doing. Gotta say, I'm not feeling too well today. Now, I am curious if I was to load the bales up on my personal, device after I bale them up, if I'd get paid out for those bales. That's something we're going to check out as we're coming up to nearly 60% complete here. Pardon me. Now we could even buy our own tractor on that. We could buy a cheap tractor that just needs to haul that thing around. That might not be a bad idea. Alrighty, we are wrapping this field up. And I say that primarily because we are at 81% complete. We'll probably be close to 90% by the time we get down to the bottom of here. Which means maybe 1.5 runs left. Maybe not even that. Maybe 7. Yeah, we'll have to come back up or head back the way we came, but even at that, we're at 89%. It's gonna be close. Let's finish this up. There we go. Alright, that one's complete. Let's collect it. Let's go take a look at other contracts. We have another cultivating contract up here. We could easily do that. A couple of spraying contracts. But I think we'll stick on that one there. Let's accept that contract. And let's back out and move our way back up to getting some stuff done. We'll probably do field 51 first. We won't be able to complete that contract, but we'll get it done. And then we'll bounce over to field 29. This tractor is not the fastest on the board. And field 51 is probably going to be one of our more longer cultivating fields. That looks like it's ready to harvest. Yeah, you're gonna have to slow down, buddy. Alright, we're getting close to field 51. I see number 52. 51 should be right there, and it is. This one's a big one. This is one where I wish I could activate the AI worker on. But that's okay, we'll get her done. Get her done. I don't sound like Larry the Cable Guy on that, but you know what I was trying to say. Almost looks like a baseball field. Almost. There we go. This is a long stretch right here. wonder what kind of crop was here to start. You know, I was going to check my graphics settings before I played, and I forgot to do that. Something I'll have to do on the next go-around. Had about 1.5 swipes around, and we were 25% complete on the field. I think I'll do another complete circle before I start going back and forth. Just to give a little more room. I might even do a fourth one, I'm thinking. I'm not quite for sure yet. There we go. Yeah, that third one gives us a pretty good chunk of space there. Crank that hard. I'm going to start chopping that down a little bit to make that make a little more sense as we go back and forth. You notice we're trying to straighten things up a little bit. And there we go. We're now well over 60% complete, so we're on the downslide on this field. And our back and forth, running back and forth, is going to start to shorten up here pretty darn quick. Right about there. Now this side of the field shortens up, but the other side doesn't quite yet. We've got a couple more runs, at least past the next set of tracks before that kind of shortens up on us. But we are 75% complete, and that's a good thing. I do know if I want to cultivate bigger fields, we probably should get a bigger cultivator, especially if we're being hired out to do them. There is one out there that's probably about 50% bigger than this one, and you know, if it's 50% bigger, we could get it done in about 25% less time. Every two of these would be, or every three of these would be equivalent to 2 passes. So you can see how much quicker this would get this done. Even though we're sitting at about 80% complete at the moment. Kind of reminds me of harvesting in a way. This might get it done a little quicker because we're going to be running a longer line now, as we're close to 93-94% complete. We hit the we hit the 97% right there. That should come close, maybe another pass or two. $98. $99. Not quite. Bang, got it. Okay, let's see. We can't complete this one yet. There is another one in field 9. We'll accept that. And what else is here? Not seeing a whole lot. I definitely don't want to plow. Don't want to do those. Can't really do those. That's sorghum. Field 20. That's pretty close. That might be something we end up doing. I mean, we'd make a decent amount of money. Is there another sorghum one, though? Got one. At the moment, no. Okay, we got 2 contracts that we got to get done. Field 29. Oops, come on. And field 9. Both relatively small. Okay, we are heading towards field 29. And then 9 is right there, so we'll be able to get to both of them. Kind of in a roundabout way. That's 5, so basically this thing has cost us $100 per field, which isn't too bad. These fields right here are the fields that I would like to purchase. These 3 right here. These here wouldn't be a bad purchasing field either, but let me hit X. We'll do 29 here, and then we'll go down and hit number 9, I believe. This is a lot easier to see what we're doing. I actually wouldn't even mind maybe purchasing this field here. And maybe the buildings up top there. Yeah, we can miss that little chunk there. It's not that big of a deal. Especially when we do one circle here and we'll be about 50% complete. There we go. Okay, 75% complete. We're not doing too bad. It's about midday right now. We got a little bit more gameplay to come through. We've made a little over 5,000. We did buy a trailer, which we are going to need. Got it at a really good price. We're at 90% complete at the moment. There we go. Boom, done. Okay, we got to fold up and then we're heading to field 9. Which means we need to cut through these sunflowers real quick. Hope nobody's driving up this road at the moment. Don't really see anything on field number 15. That needs to be cultivated, doesn't it? Crank a hard corner right here, and then we'll turn again, and we'll be at field number 9. And we'll have gotten 5 cultivating contracts done. Probably really close to by 12 o'clock. Maybe just a little bit after. Gonna have to look straight up there. There we go. Look at that. One complete circle around us, and we're already 30% complete. I can see why this was about a $2,000 contract now. Initially, when I was thinking about this field, I was thinking it might be worth a little bit more than that, but yeah, not really. Alrighty, we can kind of sit here and say we are close to done at just about 70% complete. Not much more to do on this field, but kind of go up and down. 90% complete. This field is pretty much harvested, 93% at the end of that run. We're gonna come in here and pretty much take out as much of that as I can. This is pretty much it, 98%. Another successful job is pretty much in the bank. Let's take a look at what we got here. There are no more cultivating, so we're gonna complete all of these. And then we'll look at some other contracts. We might do the spraying contracts. We got a couple of them here. We do have the herbicide, so that might be worthwhile. We could do this one, but I would like another sorghum contract if we're going to do that. And I'm just not seeing it. So I think it's spraying. Do we want that one or that one? I haven't used that one. Let's try that one. We'll borrow the items. And while we're there, we'll come through and find the other spraying. And we'll accept that contract as well. We're up to 32,000, which is more money than what we had yesterday. We'll go load up our sprayer here. Okay. Yeah, let's, I guess we'll go hit field 61 first. Actually, let's go hit 22 first. 61's a little closer, so... Doesn't it seem like we sprayed 61 on yesterday and 22? It seems like I did both of those. Maybe I didn't, but it sure does feel like it. At least 61 does. .22 maybe, maybe not. I'm not for sure, but 61 feels like I sprayed that yesterday. And when I say yesterday, last episode, we're a lot closer to the office to dump off our herbicide. At 61, that's why we chose to do that second. We paid $2,400 for this herbicide. Oh, you know what? I think I did bales on one of them. I'm not quite for sure which one, but I think 61 was we baled hay. You're not going to cut me off, buddy. Okay, we just need to turn it on. And we'll do it something like this. We're going to zoom way out on this one. I mean, the nice thing about this is look at how wide of a sprayer we have. You know, it doesn't use much herbicide. I have used the sprayer before, and it uses more of the fertilizer than what this does. A little slower on the field, but, you know, hey, it is what it is. Okay, we're gonna have to... Come on. There we go. Boy, field 61 is going to be quick, and they're still giving me 31 or over 3,000 on that. These trees are a pain in... Okay, let's fold it. Get it back in a good spot so I can literally do this. Yeah, I see where I'm at. Let's turn around right here. There we go. Now unfold. Is it on? Turn on sprayer. There we go. And there we go. One way or not, we're going to figure it out. And we're at right at 80%. We'll be done here in a matter of minutes, if not less. %. There we go. Let's turn it off, hold it up. And while we full, let's see if there's any other spraying contracts. There are not. Look at all the cultivating contracts we got, though. Cultivating contracts all over the place at the moment. We got to go to 61. Yep, you gotta wait. Once we get this done, we gotta empty our tank again, because as I said, we paid a lot of money for that, and we're gonna make them stop. He pulled out in front of me. That's what happens. Okay, 61 is by the water. We can see the field. We got to turn in here. The corn's almost done. Okay, I'm not quite for sure why we're spraying this field and why we don't just cultivate it. But, you know, okay. Okay, it's turned on. Already stuck. Come in this way. Wait, I am on 61, right? And it says I'm not doing the right thing, but I think I am spraying. Spraying it with herbicide. That's what I'm doing. I'm on 61. Let's... I'm using herbicide here, and it's not working. Are you telling me because I'm not using the other sprayer? Okay, well, we're going to cancel that contract. And we'll go put this back. That is ridiculous. We're here. Now let's just try it one more time. See if I can get it to work. And the answer is no. So I am not going to waste my money that I spent on herbicide on your field if it's not going to count it. That's kind of crazy. It worked yesterday. But, you know, hey, maybe I'm spraying the wrong kind of herbicide. Who knows? Cancel this contract and we can complete, especially since that guy didn't want me to use my herbicide that I had. Here's my trailer. I like the look of it. Okay, we want to let's queue. Unfold, unload. I unload mine. Escape. We're going to... Yeah, we're going to cancel that contract. we'll collect our money there, and we'll collect nothing, which is okay. That's a pretty big field, but this might be the sprayer or the what I'm looking for. So we're going to borrow the items. $21's up there, 26. Those two are close together. So yeah, let's accept. And let's accept. And then I'm going to look down here, nothing there. Not my favorite kind of tractor. Look how slow that thing is driving. This is one of the new ones from the new DLC, one of the Fords. We can discuss what Ford stands for. A couple of things that as a kid we used to say was Ford stands for found on roadside dump or found on roadside ditch. Whichever one sounds good to you. Oh, this one's even smaller. This is horrible. Smaller than the other one. This is one I like to keep. The big cultivator, whenever I can find it. This one here is just absolutely horrible. I wonder. Fertilizing, yeah. There's a spraying contract, but yep. And this thing struggles in getting the. Well, once it gets going, but it does struggle. This kind of tractor turns better with this thing in it, I will say that. Not a fan of this tractor, or not a fan of the tractor, not a fan of the cultivator. We need to buy ourselves a better cultivator. That is straight up a crack there. We're going to crank this hard right here. I mean, once it's going, it's maintaining 9 miles an hour, which is good. I feel like the other one, we couldn't do that, so this is picking up the pace a little bit because of that, but we didn't plow a big chunk of this out the last time. This time we're going to. get this all taken care of. Oh, we're over 30% complete. Could be better. Especially over here where we're gonna turn this around. Okay. What we did do is we really straightened out that chunk there. This part of the field looks a lot better. Chasing the wild deer out of the way. And now we're running 60% complete. You know, the tractor's okay. It's a little slow, but it's got some power when it's working. What I don't like is the cultivator. The cultivator is too small for this size of a field. Definitely way too small. If this had a bigger cultivator on there, this probably wouldn't be that bad. This seems like an old tractor. And then I can't drive straight. One of the things that drives me up the wall is the control on this sometimes goes to the extreme a little bit. Then like that, it was just fine. Seems like way too much work for what we're getting in return. I literally look look and see if there's a different tractor and stuff for a cultivating job when I get this done. That's what happens when I get a little bored. Okay, we're at 94, 95%. We're getting close, 95%. Probably 98% when we get down here. We're still rolling 97. We should roll into the 98. There we go. Let's just hit this nice and get as much of this mowed down as possible. There we go. Let's see, is there any new cultivating contracts? There is not. That's disappointing. Where are we going next? Oops. Actually, let's look and see if there's anything here I could buy, and it doesn't look like it. Yeah, nothing there. Okay. Let's go hit field 26 right now. Let's see how it works on hills. Once we get field 26 done, we'll go do 21. That's a pretty small field when you consider. I always find it interesting. Sometimes it doesn't drop down, even though it's supposed to be dropped down. We're struggling at the moment. And this thing is struggling going up the hill. Not there control-wise. This might make you a little sick watching this one. I'm pretty sure there's not a huge percentage of y'all that have made it this far, but if you have, you know what, put a comment in saying, hey, I made it nearly 2 hours into your video. A good way to put in there to see who is watching it all the way through, versus who is, you know, just hitting it for a couple of minutes. And if you are watching it all the way through, I want to say thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it. Definitely looking better. Here we go. This one does struggle, and the next thing is we're close to 50% complete. By the time we get up to the top of the hill, we should be at 50% complete on this, which will everything from there is downhill, but this tractor definitely struggles going up the hill. Knocked out. That's okay. And interesting to have full damage on, but it won't damage them. Anyway. A little closer to complete. And that thing dropped all the way down. Just not a lot of oomph to it. Alright, we're just about 75% complete. Thinking that if there's not a different setup, we'll cancel that last field because this thing is, I mean, you just see the struggle on it. When we get to the bottom here, we'll be at 90%. Maybe 91. This is our last pass here. And then this field will be done. There we go. Yeah, nothing there, so we're gonna cancel that one. Collect those out. And then we'll come here and we will call this an episode here. If you made it this far, thank you very much. And with that said, stay safe and bye for now.